This is the softest black forest cake I have made. A light chocolate chiffon layered with fresh cherry compote and whipped cream. I made this completely from scratch using fresh cherries, and I prepared it for my husband's birthday. Let's start by making the cherry compote first. I started with fresh cherries. I washed them with water, add a little vinegar for extra cleaning, then rinsed again with plain water. And patted them dry using a clean kitchen towel. Next, I removed the stems and cut the cherries into large pieces, taking out the seeds. You can use a cherry pitter for this. I don't have one, so I went the old-fashioned way. Now let's make the cherry compote. Add the cherries to a saucepan along with the sugar and a small cinnamon stick. The cinnamon generally warms up the cherry flavor and adds depth. It pairs beautifully with cherries and chocolate, which is perfect for a black forest cake. Let the cherries cook gently. Once they start releasing their juice, collect about half a cup of cherry juice and set it aside. We will use this later to brush the cake layers. I am not crushing the cherries here. I like keeping them chunky so you get a nice bite-sized pieces in the cake. While the cherries are cooking, prepare a slurry by mixing cornstarch and water until smooth. Add it to the cherries and cook until the mixture thickens. Finally, add lemon juice. Remove the pan from the heat and let the compote cool completely. Now let's move on to the chocolate chiffon cake. I started by sifting all the dry ingredients, all-purpose flour, cocoa powder, baking powder and salt into a bowl. I sifted everything together at least 5 times. This step is very important because it aerates the flour and helps create a lighter, softer cake. Once done, I set the dry ingredients aside. Next, I crack the eggs and separate the egg whites and yolks into 2 clean bowls. I use this cute little chick egg separator. It makes the process quick and easy. I divided the sugar into 2 parts. I added the first portion to the egg yolks and mix until slightly pale. Then I added vanilla, oil and finally milk. Mix well after each addition. I added the dry ingredients into the yolk mixture in 3 batches. Mixing gently, be mindful here, do not overmix or the cake will turn dense. Now for the egg whites, I started whipping them and added cream of tartar or a lemon juice to help stabilize them. I added the remaining sugar in 3 intervals and beat the egg whites on a medium speed until they reached medium stiff peaks. You can test this by gently inverting the bowl. The egg white should stay in place and not fall. I gently folded the egg whites into the yolk batter in 3 to 4 batches using a circular motion and cutting through the center. Go slowly and gently, This keeps the batter airy and helps the cake rise soft and tall. Preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. Then prepare the cake pan. I am using an 8-inch cake pan with a 3-inch height. First, lightly grease the pan with butter. Place a round piece of parchment paper at the bottom of the pan. Then apply a little butter on top of the parchment as well. Dust the pan lightly with flour and tap off any excess. Once the pan is ready, pour in the prepared batter and gently level the top. Lightly tap the pan on the counter once or twice to release any large air bubbles. Bake the cake at 350 Fahrenheit for 45 to 50 minutes or until a toothpick insert in the center comes out clean. Once baked, I remove the cake from the oven and loosely covered with a cling wrap while still warm. This helps trap moisture and keep the chiffon cake soft. While the cake was cooling, I prepared the chocolate decorations. I melted semi-sweet chocolate in the microwave in 20-second intervals, stirring in between until smooth. I poured the melted chocolate into a small Ziploc bag and cut tiny holes at the corner. To make the chocolate flowers, I piped small dots onto a parchment paper. Using the back of a small spoon, I gently pressed the chocolate, moved it in a circular motion, and drag it slightly downwards to form petals. Next, I made the chocolate leaves. I picked a few rose leaves from my garden, washed them and patted them completely dry. Using the back side of the leaves, I dipped them into melted chocolate and placed them on parchment paper. The natural wines create a beautiful texture. Placed all the chocolate decorations in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes until fully set. We will prepare chocolate shavings. I use dark chocolate and a peeler to shave the chocolate and keep it aside for decorating. Once chocolate leaves and petals harden, I gently peel the chocolate off of the leaves and carefully remove the petals from the parchment paper and keep it aside. Now let's assemble the cake. I release the cake from the pan and trim the sides slightly. This helps the whipped cream sticks better and gives a clean finish. I slice the cake evenly into 3 layers. To prepare the whipped cream frosting, I added 5 cups of cold heavy cream to a bowl along with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Using an electric mixer, I whipped the cream and gradually added sugar until it reaches stiff peaks. To assemble, I spread a small amount of whipped cream on the cake board so that cake doesn't move. I placed the first cake layer on top and brushed it with the reserved cherry syrup. This acts like a conditioner for the cake, keeping it soft and moist. I cut the tip of the piping bag and filled it with the whipped cream frosting. I piped a cream border around the edges of the cake. Fill the center with the prepared cherry compote and spread it evenly using a cake spatula. Then added a layer of whipped cream. I place a second cake layer on top and repeat the same steps. For the final layer, I brushed it with cherry syrup and covered the top and sides with whipped cream. To smooth the frosting, I dip my spatula in hot water, then wipe it completely dry with a clean cloth. This step is very important. You never want water dripping onto the cake. I gently run the hot spatula along the sides of the cake, then across the top. The heat from the spatula slightly softens the whipped cream, which helps remove any lines or rough edges. After a few strokes, I dip the spatula back into hot water again, wipe it clean, and continue smoothing. I repeat this process until the frosting looks smooth and even. Take your time here and work slowly. Started by adding chocolate shavings around the base of the cake. These steps can get a little messy. Some shavings may fall onto the table, and that's completely fine. Just keep adding and gently pressing them around the base until it looks even. Next, I move to the top of the cake. I piped a circular design with whipped cream, then carefully arranged the chocolate petals into a flower shape. I added the chocolate leaves around the flowers and placed pearl sprinkles in the center to give it a finished look. To complete the decoration, I added a few spiral piping details and topped the cake with the fresh cherries. And just like that, the cake looks elegant, professional, and ready for any celebration. Now let's slice the cake. I honestly can't wait to taste this. Look at those layers. They are looking absolutely amazing. Let's taste this. Trust me, this is so good. It is incredibly soft, light, and perfectly balanced. The chocolate chiffon melts in your mouth, and the gentle sweet cherry compote in every bite is just heaven. A beautiful, elegant black forest cake made completely from scratch. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.